Wagwan me people, quick thing before we kick off. The views where you hear upon the Father to Father podcast, them strictly for why, the hosts, guests, and contributors. Them now represent Catholic Notebook, Spirit Stream Studios, the Diocese, University, or any affiliated groups. You see me? And remember, this podcast is strictly for adult ears, so listen up with discretion.
Welcome to Father, where life and faith meet, a place for the soul, where wisdom speaks. Hope in the message, strength in the beat. Welcome to Father, where life and faith meet.
Yo, what's up?
Nah, not much. Welcome to Spirit Stream. You see, that already tells you how long of a week it's been.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, welcome to Father podcast. I'm Dr. Giovanni. With me is my right hand, my main man,
Father Greg Lambert.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna make this quick. Open up your second browser. Stop making me say the things. I don't understand how many times I gotta say this before you get it through your mind. Second browser on deck. Already, you see the podcast pop up. You see our faces sitting there looking at you saying, making money. That's what you should be doing. Putting it in the tip jar. Go to the
I was gonna say I'm not making any money. But
hey, no, go to catholicnotebook.org/father. That's catholicnotebook.org/
Father to Father.
F2F.
I'm so tired.
You are so tired.
so tired.
You have one
It
job.
doesn't make any sense. A father to Father. F to F is what I meant to say, y'all. I'm so tired.
If you can't tell, we're feeling good. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're having a good day. Yo, let's get started, man. You ready?
I think so.
Oh, goodness.
Yo, Father Greg, Dr. G, what's good? I know it sounds clear, I know it's misunderstood. The story's wild, yeah, it's out there, no doubt, but just lean in close.
But hear me out. Hey, it's hear me out. 5 stars, you did nothing wrong. 1 star. Got confession on Thursdays. If you're people doing confession on Thursdays, let us know. catholicnotebook.org/father. That's catholicnotebook.org/
F2F.
But hear me out. I didn't sabotage the wedding. I just asked questions. He already had to go take a sip, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I came home for the holidays thinking it was usual. Passive-aggressive comments, wine, everybody asking why I'm still single. It's none of your business. That's what she wrote.
It's intense.
And then I find myself at a pre-wedding dinner being told very casually, oh yeah, your sister Claire is getting married. I said, who? Because the man sitting across from her, Andrew Whitlock, is objectively out of her league in the way families whisper about. But I played along. I was a nice, supportive sister. But that last name stuck with me, Whitlock, because it sounded familiar. Then I asked, Andrew, do you know a Thomas Whitlock? He said, yeah, that's my uncle. I said, oh, interesting. Why was it interesting? Because Thomas Whitlock was married to my mother when I was 8 and lived with us for years and then died. And then my mom remarried my current dad.
Okay.
Claire clocked it immediately. She went quiet. Later, she pulled me aside with Andrew hovering over her like an emotional support animal and said, why would you do this? Why are you trying to mess up a good thing for me? Andrew chimed in too. It's like, we don't need to get into this. Then I got annoyed and suddenly I became a villain because I asked about a last name while everybody else was pretending like the context really doesn't matter.
It kind of does in this situation.
And I said, maybe a little bit too loud, but I was already vexed at this point because everybody was pushing against me like I was the bad guy. So I said, fine. Does he know everything about you, Claire?
Yo. Why?
Like, does he know you had an abortion before you met him?
Hey, yo.
Does he know you probably shouldn't be wearing white on your wedding day? Or are we pretending that those details don't matter too? and they're just inconvenient. Like the fact that you and him could be cousins. That's when the room just detonated. My mom lost her mind. Claire started crying. Andrew sat there looking blindsided, counting to 9 on his fingers. Everyone decided immediately that this was proof that I was always jealous, that I waited for moments like this to throw doubt into things because Claire always hit milestones first. No one wanted to hear. I was just connecting the dots. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't throwing grenades. I was asking questions. Now Claire won't talk to me. Andrew's acting like I ruined his life. And my mom keeps saying, what the hell were you thinking? You know what I was thinking, Mom? I was thinking that if someone didn't ask these questions, the priest would have asked these questions, and this would have came out anyways. So you're welcome.
Gracious.
So hear me out. I didn't sabotage the wedding. I just asked questions. You want recap?
Yeah.
TLDR, I feel like there's something there with her because she just like she went back home and she's like, oh, my sister's getting married, that's interesting. And then she sat down and she's like, wait a minute, Whitlock, do you know the other Whitlock? He's like, yeah, that's my uncle. And he goes, I'm just asking because that Whitlock was married to my mom. That's where Claire comes from. Also, not my business. It is what it is. Claire circles back and was like, hey, yo, you shouldn't be acting this way. Like, why are you doing this? You didn't even have to say that. You didn't have to bring this up. And she started pressing her. He's like, word? I didn't have to say this up. I didn't have to bring this up. You had an abortion, Claire.
Oh, gosh. That's terrible. That's really bad to bring up.
He's like, you had an abortion, Claire. On top of that, you shouldn't even be wearing white on your wedding day. So, if we talking about questions, I got questions. Does he know you had an abortion? Does he know you shouldn't be wearing white on your wedding day? Because if he doesn't, then he should. And she said, I said it because I got pressed.
Man.
I already know what I'm giving. I'll give you runway.
Yeah, I know what I'm giving too. Wow. That's a lot. Well, for first and foremost, there's a lot. Oh my gosh, there's a lot here. All right, so let's start here. So Claire, this individual who is trying to get married, and she has this guy that she loves. They're really excited about it. What immediately draws my attention to this is that the sister came home and didn't know that her sister was getting married. So she didn't tell her first. Usually, I mean, not everyone, and some people are going to want to kind of keep these things secret and make it a big surprise to the family. But the family knew and she didn't.
The thing is, you know Chris and I don't got a good relationship.
Yeah.
But he's still my brother. If someone was going down in my life, I would have at least sent him a text and be like, hey, yo, by the way, this is going on.
Exactly.
Because it's a big milestone in my life. I don't care if you come or you don't come.
Yeah.
But just so you know, this is what's going on. You don't got to see it from somebody else.
Yeah, that's true. And they're sisters, and she didn't feel like she either needed to or wanted to, is what I think, tell her that, hey, she was getting married. That's the first strike, because that doesn't happen overnight. That happens over a long period of, I feel like I can't trust you. I feel like I can't tell you these things. And also, she said in this letter message that Mr. Whitlock, Andrew, I think his name was.
Yeah. Andrew is the guy's name. And
Yeah.
he said, like, hey, do you know a Thomas Whitlock?
Yeah, and that this person is clearly out of her league, as she says.
Yeah, Andrew Whitlock is out of Claire's league.
That's something that is really hard to say if you're a sibling in front of another sibling. Like, that's it. Even if it might be true from the naked eye, the fact that you're a sibling, that's your sister, and that's what you said.
Well, it's the first time you've seen her in a while. You just come back home and you go, that man shouldn't be with you. How did you pull him? Mm-hmm. And you're sitting there just, to me, it's like you're not even in the moment. You're already trying to figure out, how can I tear this down?
Mm-hmm. And not only that, like, let's be very clear about something. The whole them partially being like related is an issue. Like, that's a legit issue. And yes, a priest would have asked this question and be like, there's some situations for pause here. There's enough space to not have it be an issue and to have this continue to go on, but we're definitely going to need to parse this out all the way. but that's the priest's job, and that's not her job. And so what she decided to do, instead of actually helping this individual, was put together the darkest parts of her life and then put that on display and broadcast it and call herself justified for doing that.
Right.
And that's never okay.
Also, the fact that you're weaponizing an abortion.
Yeah.
You're weaponizing abortion, and you're also weaponizing sin, because like at the same time, you're sitting there going like, oh, does he know you shouldn't be wearing white? Like the whole white on wedding day is supposed to be like purity and all that stuff. It's like, oh yeah, you're telling her she is not pure.
Exactly. And therefore that takes away from this moment that they're supposed to be sharing. And let me be very clear, as a priest, we always prefer, like it is always preferred that the person it gives their virginity away to their husband and or wife, their spouse is what I mean. But if that is not there, that doesn't mean I'm going to ask you to not wear white on your wedding day. This moment is a moment to come together in the sacrament of the church. The body and blood of Christ will be given to you, and you guys will become one flesh. You will make solemn vows, not to each other, but well, yes, to each other, but also before God. Not just before God, but also before your friends and family. This is a moment that wedges and melds the two so they may become one. That's what they're after. And the general sentiment of the rest of the family is you always do this. I'm not saying that they're all right, but the fact that everyone has the same opinion is alarming to me. And so I have what I think is going on here. I also have my rating. So what's yours?
2.
I'm going 1.
Like the only reason why I said 2 was because at the end of the day, I'm trying to be consistent with all the things that we do, and we've done. There is a situation similar to this where Demon Babies. She got up and said Demon Babies, and you gave her a 2, and so if Demon Babies lady got a 2. You had an abortion, you shouldn't be wearing white, gets a 2 too. I mean, because to me, that's on the same level of delusion where like you were sitting there trying to tear it down. Is it like a 1 situation? You can talk me into a 1, but my first blush was like, as soon as she said, are you related to such and such? I'm like 2. Because at that point, it's like, why are you so focused on this? Because if you truly cared about whatever, you would have sat back and said, like, hey, let me talk to you this after.
Yeah, let me talk to you in private real quick.
Let me talk to you in private. Like, hey, by the way, you do know that could be your cousin, right?
Right.
Because mom was married to Thomas. Thomas is your dad. I know you weren't, like, there and you think whatever, but Thomas is really your dad. And she goes, oh, really? I didn't know that. It's like, yeah, maybe you should look at, not my business. If you don't want to, that's your business. But I'm just concerned in terms of that. But also, congratulations, girl. And then moved on. If she would have done that, 5.
Right.
But the fact that you're sitting there going, where did I hear that name from? Do you know this guy? Also, he was married to our mom. This was the thing situation. Then he died. Then my mom got remarried.
Also, ever, and we've said this before, but ever throwing out not just someone's dirty laundry, but something that is the darkest point of their life as a point in an argument is not ever going to be okay.
It's like
you cannot tell me that got thrown out with the best of intentions.
No. And I mean, like, I know I chuckled. I was just like, whatever. I was watching you and you were grimacing, but I was laughing because I'm sitting there going like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you thought that the best thing to say in this moment was, oh, by the way, you got an abortion. Oh, by the way, you shouldn't be wearing white.
And you're telling me that you said that with the intention that I just wanted to ask questions.
I'm just asking questions.
I'm just trying to help my family.
And then you're surprised that everybody goes, you see, this is why we never tell you anything. You see, you wait to the moment to try to tear people down, and that's why we didn't tell you anything. I'm sorry, but everyone's saying it?
Yeah.
Everyone's saying it. There are situations where people will say things because they bought into the Kool-Aid, but there's other situations where you really got to check yourself and be like, hey, like, maybe it is me. But, you know, I give it 2. Father Greg gives him 1. What do you think? Let us know. CaptainOver.org/ follow the Father. CaptainOver.org/
F2F.
Yo, Father Greg, Dr. G,
But hear me out.
I know it sounds clear, I know it's misunderstood. The story's wild, yeah, it's out there, no doubt. But just lean in close, just hear me out. Hear me, hear me.
needed a mat. All I got handed was traps, said boy go be great, but gave me no pass, so I bled from the faith I ain't know I still had. Good advice don't come cheap, real ones ran wisdom, don't tweet. Now I walk through the dark trying not to repeat the same fake love that they handed to me. They come to me now like I know the route. Big bro, what's the play, can you help me out? And I tried not to laugh, but I see myself back when I was broke, begging somebody else. Ain't no manual for this, just pressure and heat. You get burnt by the ones that you thought brought peace. Told my little man, don't believe what you see. Even angels fall hard when they run.
All right, so it's fatherly advice. You already know what it is. Assume I already said, Dear Father Greg, Dear Dr. Gio, it is what it is. Stop looking at me that way. Stop looking at me that way.
He's just mad because they know they wrote to me.
A lot of them wrote to me too. I am saving your ego.
Yeah, but your questions are different.
Okay, hey, again, they come in themes, they come in batches. Sometimes we get through a lot of them. Sometimes it's just one that just hits us hard. This one's coming from Toronto, Canada. This might sound like sibling rivalry, but it's deeper. My younger brother has always been the troubled one, and my parents built our whole lives around saving him. I was the easy kid, so I learned not to need anything. Now I'm burnt out, resentful, angry, and my success was quietly expected while his failures were endlessly excused. When I finally said something, my parents said, "We didn't know you felt that way." But that broke me. Is it fair to be angry over attention you never asked for, but also never received? I'm just going to say this right now. Yeah. It's perfectly fine. Now, what you do with it is a completely different issue. Like, you were upset because your parents didn't respond in the way that you thought your parents would have responded. They said, "Oh, we never thought you felt this way because you never expressed yourself." Mm-hmm. But you felt like you couldn't express yourself because the attention was always focused on your brother. Now, I totally get it. That's a normal response. You're upset because your parents were human and didn't look at you and said, "Hey, what do you got?" But also, you named yourself the easy one.
Mm-hmm. You fell into that identity.
But at the same time, though, let's not pretend that your parents didn't do anything for you. There's a difference between attention gaps, right? Mm-hmm. If we're focusing on crisis and we're putting out fires of crisis, why am I caring about the plant that's growing perfectly healthy in my backyard? Mm-hmm. I'm just going to check in on that plant every so often because it's growing perfectly healthy.
From the outside, yeah.
From the outside, it's growing perfectly healthy. It's producing fruit. It's great. And we celebrate the fruit that it produces, but it's not to the level that we give our attention to fires. Now, does that make it right? No. Does it make it human? Yeah. Because in all honesty, your focus is going to be on the fire unless the plant says something.
Yeah.
Like, you got to say something, which, again, I'm not saying that, hey, you're wrong for not saying something earlier. It's just to say, like, listen, you're okay for being upset.
Right.
It's perfectly okay for you to be upset, but it's what you do with that. Because if you're going to turn that that anger response into resentment, and now that's just going to fuel negative behavior and bad decision making because you want to cause conflict in your environment because you think that's going to cause pain reciprocal to the pain that you feel, like that at that point is not really doing anything for you. So it's a matter of, all the advice I'm going to give you is this. Look at it in perspective. Figure out legitimately the attention I got from my parents. What exactly was I missing? I know my brother got a lot of attention because it was always stuff against the wall with him. But for me, what exactly was I missing? And can I get those things now?
That is the question, because getting the attention now would look different than when you were a child. Yeah. If you're looking for the attention that you would have got when you were a child, you're not going to get it as a 21, 22-year-old individual. I don't know how old this person is. I'm just making a ballpark, right?
Yeah.
So you could remedy this by saying, hey, I would love to take a trip or something with my dad. Let's just one-on-one, just you and me. Mm-hmm. Or take a trip with my mom or spend a day with my mom, something. Like, now you're an adult, I assume. Now you can go ahead and take that extra effort and say, I want to get to know my parents now that I'm an adult now that we have the time, now that I think I can probably say that my brother can take care of himself and he won't burn down the house while I'm gone for like 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
Let's take a drive or something and tell me about life. Tell me about the things you never told me about. Let me ask you questions. Like this could be a time for you to not lean into resentment, but to lean into the possibility of what your relationship could be with now.
Yeah. And I'm going to let you know this for free. Your life is not that interesting for everybody else. It's interesting for you, but it's not that interesting for everybody else. We
That's
live
okay.
Yeah, and that's fine. But we live in a world where like the spotlight we put on ourselves is always brighter than what is actually on us.
That's true.
And it's only when things need our attention that we actually focus with them. If you really think about it, unless you like super famous, ain't nobody really care what happens one way or the other to you.
That's what I say. I tell people all the time, I'm not actually famous. I'm well known.
Okay.
I'm well known in particular niche circles.
Particularly niche circles.
That's about it. That's it.
Yeah, the first black priest of Iowa is just well known in particularly niche circles. You're a
really
Googleable fact.
I'm still relatively no. People don't recognize that stuff, dog.
Yeah, until they look it up and they're like, oh shoot. Like
I think I'm going around telling people like, hey yo, you should look me up. Like I'm at Lowe's being like, hey, pull out your phone right now.
Open up your second browser.
Give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars.
No, but we say this with love though. Like honestly, we put a bigger spotlight on ourselves than anything else. And if you really are trying to figure out like, yo, what you said was a good thing. Like, yo, you're older now. Tell your parents like, hey, I want to spend time with you.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and then do it. Trust and believe me, your parents will be like, really? All right, cool.
Yes.
Let's do it. What do you want to do? But be careful though, because once you open up that can of worms, there's no going back. There's no going back. Sometimes attention ain't really worth it.
Exactly. Yo, my dad won't stop talking about all my children.
It's like
not us, the TV show. I didn't know they were so thorough. It's terrible. It's terrible.
That's what you wanted.
Yeah, that is what you wanted. You called the show. We gave you the answer. Don't get mad because you got the answer.
Yo, here's another one. This one's from San Antonio, Texas. I need advice about loyalty. My uncle raised me when my parents were struggling. Recently, I found out he's been lying about a big family issue.
Okay.
Something that affects inheritance and medical decisions. If I expose it, I blow up the family and betray the man that stepped in for me. If I stay quiet, people get hurt later, specifically after some people die. The way you say that. Do you owe loyalty to the person who helped you or to the truth when it costs you everything?
It depends on what you define as everything.
Listen, I'm having two simultaneous thoughts go through my mind. One as a black man, the other one.
I was like, yeah, like don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah, right.
That go through my head. I was like, but also morally speaking,
but Doug. Case in point. Let me just say this, right? Let's say I knew, you like okay, in our family we had someone about to die, right? Grandma, grandpa, whatever, about to die. They sick or whatever, and I'm supposed to be taking care of them. Plot twist, not really taking care of them that much. I got a nurse that does it on a regular basis. I just show up and trim the hedges. Everything's cool, right? Okay. But on the low, I rewrote the entire will. The entire will. Because there's a lot of people in my family that ain't deserve anything. So I just snip. I haven't seen you in 10 years. I haven't seen you in 5 years. I haven't seen you whatever. All you care about is a paycheck that you think is coming your way. No. It's all coming to me. I did that. I told you like, hey, yo, by the way, you getting $50,000.
That's even worse. Like, why'd you mislead me? Like, you didn't need to gas me up like that.
No. I'm just telling you getting $50,000. Oh. Then let's say John comes along, our brother. John says, "Oh shoot, you know when Grandma dies, I might get $30,000."
You about to get the well. The what? Yeah, we're gonna throw you in a cistern, my boy. Sell you off to slavery, my boy.
That's pretty much it. But I'm saying this with you right now, just chopping it up. I'm like, yeah, you gonna get 50, I'm gonna get 150. Like we Gucci after that.
Wait, why do you get 150? Wait a minute.
Listen. I got the family with kids. You a priest. You don't need that money.
Oh my god.
What, you want me to say you get nothing? Nah. I also got to deal with the property taxes and all that. You don't even got to do any of that. But you see what we doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
I will not lose an ounce of sleep.
Yeah.
If John comes up and says like, "Hey, where's my cut?" It's like, you don't get a cut.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen you since '92. Like, what are we doing here?
Oof.
Also, I found out you ain't really my brother.
Oof.
Like, so if we're really talking about family, who are like that's the situation. But she's sitting there going, I'm saying she, but there's no identifier one way or the other. But this person's sitting there going like, yo, I feel conflicted.
Why would you feel conflicted though? That's the question. There's got to be something that's making you feel conflicted. If you knew for a fact that what you're doing is right and you are in the right, there's not much of a confliction.
Well, the confliction comes into play because it's like, hey, yo, my uncle's been loyal to me, and it's going to affect people later. So mainly, I think what's going on is the parents, they ain't nothing. Because the uncle stepped up and took care of her, or him. And then he says like, oh yeah, by the way, when grandma such and such dies, I'm going to hit you with 50,000. Yeah. I'm going to get the rest. Your parents are not going to get anything. And it was a serious like heart to heart talk. Mm-hmm. And then she's sitting there going like, but that's mom and dad though.
And mom and dad is like, yo, I'm about to. They've been talking about years. They're gonna retire, like get a boat,
yeah,
sail across the world, even for doing nothing.
Yeah, finally talking about taking her to Disney World for the first time and being one happy family. And she's just like, you're not. Like,
you're not gonna get any of that.
And this is where I think the cultural divide comes into play because I look at that and go like, show your work. Mm-hmm. Show your work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Take it the long way. Long division.
So what is the pastoral response in that situation? She comes to you and says like, hey, I'm saying she. This person comes to you and says like, hey, here's my situation. Am I wrong for not saying anything? Is the loyalty to my uncle stronger than the loyalty to the truth?
That's a good question. It's an honest question. Let's say it like this. Damn it. Let's say it like this. In this situation, a pastoral situation, she were to come up to me and say, hey, what should I do? I would say the morality of the situation is that the truth always sets you free, that whatever is done in the dark will always come to the light. So you got to make a decision immediately. Well, maybe not immediately, but very soon. Come to terms about where your emotions lie and why you're feeling the way that you're feeling right now. Because obviously there are two things that are pulling at you. One, loyalty to your uncle who took care of you. And then the other side is your parents and loyalty to your parents, whether or not there is loyalty to your parents and whether or not you should have loyalty to your parents. You got to figure out where that's coming from. The sooner you figure out where your loyalty is actually supposed to lie and why you believe that, the why behind your loyalty, everything's going to be a lot more clear for you.
Right.
You are the only person in your life that is you, that had your experiences, that was at this age, at this particular place between your parents and your uncle within your family. You get the dynamics more than I ever will. I can get as much information from you, but I will never be you, and I will never understand the fullness of your emotions. So you have to figure out for yourself, where are my emotions lying when it comes to loyalty? If you want a quick answer, if you want something less pastoral sounding, I would say your uncle has been the one who's been taking care of you. And if you can say and vouch that he's taking care of you well, and he's loved you, and he's seen you, and he's understood you, and he had a heart-to-heart with you, he said, this is the reason I'm doing this. The reason he had a heart-to-heart and you're old enough to understand this is because he thinks that you're mature enough in order to process this correctly. Therefore, the loyalty would side with your uncle, the individual who knows you best, who's raised you, and who's loved you. The persons or individuals or parents that you came from before, for whatever reason, weren't there. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. It means that in the situation that they've been given, they didn't have all the necessary tools, whether that be financial or whether that be spiritual or whether that be moral, to raise you correctly. Therefore, they had to relinquish you to somebody who could. The person who could raise you is the one who trusts you with this information. So the loyalty would lie with your uncle.
Right. Facts. We'll do one more and then we'll head out. All right.
Yeah.
This one comes from Seoul, South Korea.
That's a huge jump from Ohio.
I know. All right, so this sounds like a marriage questions, but I don't really know.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Oh.
It literally says like, this sounds like a marriage questions, but I don't really know. So please help me out. My wife and I agreed to move closer to her parents after we had kids. I didn't expect how much control her parents will have over our lives.
From South
Parenting
Korea.
decisions, finances, how often we have to visit them. When I push back, my wife says I'm being disrespectful to the elders.
Are they living in North Korea now?
No, living in South Korea.
No, I said they're from South Korea, but where are the parents from?
South Korea.
Oh, okay.
This person is writing from South Korea about moving to South Korea to live with closer to the parents.
Okay.
When I push back, my wife says I'm disrespecting the elders and pulled her into an impossible situation. She will not disrespect her parents for my own comfort. I don't want to isolate her from her family.
I don't think she could be.
But I feel like I've disappeared inside of hers. How do I draw boundaries without dishonoring culture?
This is very particular. This is tricky because I don't know what his culture is. Is he also South Korean?
No. If he was South Korean, he wouldn't have a problem with this because he understands what the culture is.
Fair enough.
I feel like, okay, let's just parse this out for what it is.
Right.
This is an American that got married to a South Korean woman. She says, hey, yo, just keep in mind, I want to live next to my parents. Because in the culture, it's a collective culture, meaning that you have everywhere outside of the United States has the same setup. You got grandparents and then your parents. And then you have the grandchildren and everything else. You are below the totem pole because you're trying to work your way up the ladder. So everybody has a say on what you should or should not be doing. And so in this situation, he's from a society, I'm imagining America, where like, nah, we're not going to grandma's house every single day. She's like, don't disrespect the elders.
That's a lot, dog.
But it's culture, though.
No,
like,
you're right. Like,
it's culture. Like, you knew. Like, here's the thing. I think right now you're having buyer's remorse. Because you're like, oh, yeah, let's do it. But you didn't ask, what is life going to be like when we get there?
Exactly.
Because now she's saying she will not disrespect her parents for your comfort.
That's a hard bar. That's a bar coming from your wife, dog.
Like, and to be fair, you agreed to go. So in her mind, you knew what you're getting yourself into. And she's calling it comfort, not like, oh, they disrespected you. Like, no. You don't like it because now they're doing something. They're in a position of authority that we didn't have before.
Yeah.
Now, if this was America, you'd be like, hey, yo, what you doing?
That's exactly what I was about to say. If this is the Midwest and Brittany hit you with that,
I'll call you and be like, talk to your sister-in-law. Because if I talk to her right now, it's not going to be good, Chief. Talk to your sister-in-law. I'm going to go for a walk and I may or may not eat ice cream. So like, you might have to come to the hospital and get me. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
just for y'all who don't know, he's violently lactose intolerant.
Yes.
So this is a call for help.
That is a call for help. If I tell him I'm about to eat some ice cream, I'm about to have butter toast. Oof. Because I'm also gluten intolerant.
Yeah, he's got both. It's
Violently
bad.
gluten intolerant.
It's very bad. He can't eat anything.
Yeah. but that's the thing though. Like if it was here, it's different. But if you're going to South Korea and that's how they run in South Korea,
Exactly. That's the culture. So you can't be mad at the culture.
what are you doing? What are you doing? And you agreed to this.
Yeah.
You should have asked more questions. Now, here's my thing. You can ask for space within the culture as you try to get used to it.
Of course.
That is not disrespectful to be like, hey, I want some alone time with you. If we're going to go to your parents, I also want to carve out alone time for the two of us.
Yes.
That's not unreasonable.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
That's
You
a
knew
great
what you were saying. Well, unfortunately, you should have read the fine print and you should have like asked more questions.
Well, for sure. Like that should have all been parsed out before the actual marriage.
Yeah,
Like
well,
that's what the dating phase is for. Like that's what all of this is for.
yeah, but dating, you just trying to put up a good resume.
That yeah, you're supposed to do more than that. Like yes,
Yeah, but like, let's just be real. Ain't nobody trying to like mess up a resume in dating.
that's true. But if you mess up the resume
That's
in
what we
dating
got-
and you figure it out that maybe this shit isn't gonna work, then you have the ability to cut bait and go somewhere else.
I mean, until you say I do, you can always cut bait.
Yeah,
That's
true.
what Trent Horn said. If they don't have a ring, yeah, Trent Horn said with his 10 toes down, if they don't have a ring, they're fair game. That's what he said. If they don't have a ring, it's fair. Even if you're engaged, that doesn't matter because canonically in the Catholic Church, unless you are married and the two have become one, you are single.
That's not necessarily true. That's not true.
That's how he put it, man.
That's how he put it. That's how Trent Horn decided to go ahead and put 10 toes down on something.
That's
He's not right on that.
Disclaimer: Father Podcast does not believe in that.
We do not believe in this.
If she put a ring on, you better stay away from her because she is on her vocational path.
Yes.
Leave her alone.
Also, if they're in seminary or the convent, leave them alone because I read these emails. You think I don't read these emails, but I do. Leave them alone.
Yeah, $10,000. You gonna sanctify it for $10,000?
It was more than $10,000. Like,
Oh, it was
we
like-
had
oh,
a
yeah,
lot more money.
Oh yeah, it's too much.
my
But
goodness.
okay, but in this situation, like if you got to give him advice, my advice to you is ask her straight up, like, hey, I didn't realize how invasive this is going to be. It's a rough transition for me. Could we find space for our family and do our own thing while we're doing? Because I don't want to have to give up my culture for your culture. And that's where I kind of feel like where I am, where I'm giving up a lot of myself to make this work.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize I was going to have to do that. So could we find a path where we're doing some things that I'm used to, as well as doing the things that you're used to? Because we're already living in a place where I'm having to learn and adjust and adjust and adjust. And I feel like I'm just giving everything up. Because ultimately this becomes like how much do I have to give in this type of situation? And at a certain point, you've given quite a bit. You should be able to say like to your wife, like, hey, can we talk about balance in this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, if this isn't your culture, you're going to need some pockets of space that have your culture still in it.
Facts.
Like any person who immigrates to another country, when you walk inside their house doesn't just look like the place where they live. It looks like an extension of themselves.
Right.
It simply does. You're going to find it. So you need to find a way to still be in touch with your own culture, be in touch with who you are inside, but also slowly adjust and also give a lot of communication as to how you're adjusting.
Facts. All right. That's it.
You ever ask for advice and they laugh at you or worse? They give it with strings attached. I learned some people don't help to help, they help to hold you. So be careful who speaks over your soul, cause not every God told me came from God. Not every I got you means you're safe. Some just wanna wear your story like a chain. Good advice is a treasure map buried in pain. Real truth ain't loud, it don't chase fame. Now I write what I needed, tattooed in flame for the next lost soul walking out of that rain.
All right, y'all. So this is a new segment. This was just originally us messing around talking about saint stories, but now I think it's gotten enough good attention that we should probably go deeper into this. So, Dr. Gio,
What's up, man?
tell me a saint story.
Usually I'm the one that says, hey, Father Greg, I'm tired of talking. Enlighten me.
I'll give you a runway.
All right, listen. I'm going to tell you the story. It's St. Jerome. I don't know how much you know about St. Jerome, but one of the funniest things with St. Jerome is his beef with St. Augustine. Now, St. Jerome and St. Augustine, they are two different cats. St. Augustine was pastoral. He's like, I lived a life before becoming a priest. I chose the priesthood. Now I'm a bishop in North Africa. Like, I'm trying to do whatever. St. Jerome, on the other hand, was like, I was being forced to become a priest because the Pope said that if I don't become a priest, then I'm going to cause more damage than good. So now here I am. I don't do masses. I don't pray in community. I don't do any of that stuff. I work, I translate, and I study. And then I pray to God. That's it. Don't ask me to look left. Don't ask me to look right. Also, if you don't read Greek, you suck.
Whoa.
Like, that was his thing. So he sits there and he has this whole thing where he built, the cool thing about St. Jerome, he built a library in his house. No, pause. Let me rewind that for you. He built a library in his house, meaning that he went and he carved into the cave of his house shelving units, then went all the way to Egypt and hand wrote books to then put on the shelf to have first edition copies of books that he wrote himself over the course of the time he turned from like 14 up until like 18, 19 type of stuff. So he has a full library compendium of books, teachings of the church, things like that, first editions, rare books and things like that he transcribed by hand. So every book on his shelf he wrote. And that was his thing. He's like, someone came in, there's a story, it's like brief one. Someone came in and said, "Hey, who wrote this book?" He said, "I did, with my own hands."
That's a flex.
Which technically it's true. He wrote it himself. So that's the type of man he is. So he becomes a priest because Pope Damasus was like, "Yo, you got to be a priest." He's like, "I don't want to." He's like, "You got to be a priest." "I don't want to." He's like, "Listen, you don't got a choice no more because you are necessary for the future of the church, but you are poison anywhere else." But poison that is given in proper doses can actually cure ailments that exist within the body. You will help purge the things that need to be purged, but you cannot be left to your own devices because that is not good for the church either. And he said, "Okay, I'll be a priest, but I'm not doing masses." He's like, "Fine, I will absolve you from the responsibility of doing masses." So that's the backstory. Fast forward, okay? St. Jerome sits there, translates the Bible. But this is a big deal because he doesn't translate the Bible from the manuscripts that everybody has right now, the Septuagint. He translates the Bible from Greek and creates the Vulgate. And so what he did is there was a popular text that people just memorized, right? He wrote it in vernacular and then wrote it he wrote it in Latin and then he sent it off into the world, just put it in the ethos and then went to bed. And he said, and I quote, "Lord, I was your pen. You take care of the world. I don't." And then went to sleep. Dog, when I sit there and tell you,
Viral.
there were literal riots in North Africa. People were burning the street down because the translation of the Bible changed. They were like, "This is not what we grew up on. That's not what you told me." And then Augustine, in his pastoral sense, literally had to calm the streets and then wrote a letter to St. Jerome. TLDR, he was basically saying, hey, buddy, next time, before you do something like that, why don't you send it to us or me as the bishop, and then I will disseminate it in a way that makes sense for the flock, because putting it out in the ethos like that is not okay. His response to Augustine was, "You don't understand scripture because you don't understand Greek. You don't understand Greek because you're lazy. If it was a woman's skirt, I'd understand."
Yo.
Golly. And Augustine's response to him was, "We don't gotta talk about that. That was the past. What were we waiting on the past for? I'm repentant of that. Why you trying to throw my..." I told you that in confidence. No, everybody knew about Augustine's past, dog. Everybody knew about Augustine's past. So Augustine wrote back to him and said, "Hey, yo, listen, if we, at least I know the touch of a woman. And knowing the touch of a woman helped me to understand how much God loves me. And I realized that through repentance, I was able to create a new life for me. So I left that in the past. So yes, if it was a woman's skirt, I'd know. Unlike you, who never knew a woman. But you know what? I'm not going to hold that against you for being a priest of our church. Because not every priest can experience everything. You have burdens for yourself. I was like, dang. St. Jerome hits back, you're still lazy. Because if you weren't as lazy, maybe your church wouldn't be as dysfunctional when a translation changed. Why did a few words changing here and there cause the whole street to burn down? Maybe that's a reflection of the poor leadership of a pastor. St. Augustine clapped back and said, well, maybe if you would do mass in communities and mass for people, it wouldn't be a situation where you don't understand why changing one word here or one word there messes with people's brains. This went on for years, my guy. They were writing full-blown, like, 14-page letters to each other. And then, like, towards the end of the life, they didn't reconcile. They just said, we'll let bygones be bygones. Just call it a day.
That's the nature of the church.
Yeah.
Have I ever seen it, dog?
Yeah, because the Pope died, and then St. Jerome had to go to Jerusalem because people wanted to kill him. It was like, yo, the Pope's dead. He ain't going to protect you no more. That story, St. Jerome. That's a fun story from St. Jerome, dog.
Oh, my gosh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it.
That was a good show, ain't it? Yeah. Hey, for all of us here at Spirit Sing Studios, we love you. You're very special.
Go forth and bear good fruit.
We out!
Father to Father, where life and faith meet.
Father to Father is a production of Spirit Stream